I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person, that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. That's right. You're tuned into the number one basketball podcast in the universe. I'm joined with my compadres, my amigos, my homies. I got Evan over here, my boy Lou, and we have the Pod Mamba, the super producer, who's making sure that we continue to be that number one NBA podcast. We have a great show in store for you today. We're going to be going down the list of our basic impressions of the season thus far. We're going to be talking about reasons to smile, things that caught off guard, like a curveball, and basically the letdown list, the disappointment. So it's going to be an interesting show. I'm actually excited about it. So let's jump right into it, guys. So, reasons to smile. What are some things or one thing that has given you just a reason to smile and excited you about this season thus far? I'll start with Ev. What's your reason to smile thus far this season, man?
Good day, gentlemen. Happy to start off this show with, with some smile, with a little humor, with a little joy. Let's do it. I'm about to send us off the rails off top, right? Because my reason to smile, it's what's going on in Milwaukee. It's the dysfunction between Giannis and the
Petty
Bucks.
Butch.
Makes
Hey,
me
yo.
happy.
I see where we're going with this. This
Elaborate.
we have it.
I'm missing it. Go ahead.
You probably see where I'm going to land, but let me get there. So I'll elaborate. All throughout history, the NBA has been filled with players, disgruntled players with issues, players that end up moving, right? Kareem went to LA. Shaq went to LA. Dame Lillard went to the Bucks. So on and so on and so on. Giannis was supposed to be different. The homegrown talent, fully invested in, brought the championship to the city. It's going to have a statue in the front, the foreign component to it. We all thought if anybody, bucked the trend, it would be Giannis. But we all saw what was coming. Started off with, a couple years ago when he was like, I want to keep pressure on the team, trying to follow that LeBron mode. Then we get to last summer when we knew that's the time to trade him. Now we're at a point where they have to get rid of him, right? Because they're arguing about, is he even healthy? Should he even come back to play and whatnot, right? No agreement with the team at all. We've seen this time and time again, franchises that aren't equipped to navigate this situation with their star player, and then they end up having to let him go. So why am I smiling? Because that means for a team like the New York Knicks, we'll be in the market for Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer. And here's why I say it, because we're kind of in a weird place. Giannis, 2 injuries this year, 3 injuries this year, 5 in the last 2 years. It's kind of not the same Giannis from a durability standpoint. So let's go through the list. If you're the Hawks, are you trading Jalen Johnson for Giannis? If you're the Sixers, are you trading VJ Edgecombe for Giannis? All these young players, young teams, they're probably choosing who they got. So now you're looking at the teams with, maybe some questionable assets. I think the Giannis market isn't as big as
we think. Which is a questionable asset.
I'm just saying, man. Questionable assets.
Speak it plainly. Who is a questionable asset on the New York Knicks?
I mean, I don't got to say it out loud. We're gearing up for a playoff run, but ask me.
No. Don't come this
ask
far.
me after the season.
No, don't say come this far and not say what you say. Come on, man.
I'm just saying, man. If you can get a stretch 4.5, to fit with Miles Turner.
Here we go.
Multi-time All-Star, best big shooting big man in the world, for Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's a win-win trade.
The
That's
fact
all
that
I'm
you don't
saying.
even want to say his name like he's Voldemort.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's a lot.
It's a win-win trade. So that's what makes me happy that the NBA has not been defeated. Players gonna hate. Players gonna move. Players gonna argue.
So the
NBA
dysfunction
still
in
standing
Milwaukee
strong.
just makes your heart smile because it could end up working out for the
Your
Knicks.
favor. Look at you. Look
Wow.
at you.
Wow.
So,
Dysfunction and dysfunction just meet because you guys are going through it as well. So, hey, that's okay. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. What about you, Lou, man? What makes you smile right now in the NBA? What's making you
You know,
smile?
what I will say is this, right? And this may just sound a little bit off, but I am glad that the 65 game rule is in place because I see how it's forcing certain players to want to be in the mix because they want to be recognized. And to the point where we have, Luka like banking on the fact that I could get a special exemption for my little homie being born, so he could still be within, be able to get the recognition of like first team All NBA, et cetera, et cetera. Even though if this 65 game didn't exist, I think Wemby would still very much still be as a competitive as he is. But every player who wants to achieve or gain one of these accolades is really making a point that as best as they can to their availability and their health to stick to that 65 game rule so they can be in the running and in consideration. It's sad about Cade and his situation because I think that's one of the ones. Collapsed lung is and I think as they refine the rule because there's the letter of the law and then there's the
spirit of
intent, the spirit of the law, right? And why you doing it. So I think there'll probably be some conversations as they move forward to kind of refine it, but to see what it's doing for some of these players and the motivation it's giving them to make sure that they have their availability, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So we know that Luka's out for the rest of the year. Probably not necessarily by to his own volition, but it is what it is. As we get to this last stretch, as people will get ready, as each team gets prepped for the playoffs. But yeah, no, actually, that has made me smile because you know what? Crack the whip. I know that's probably analogy, but nah, man, like hold their feet to the fire. We're not gonna just be okay with as we always talk about the product of what the NBA is. If you're going to this game and you're going to see Steph. It doesn't matter if it's they playing Washington. You want to see Steph play, right? That's why you guys sold out that night. So give the fans what it is that they're looking for and what they deserve. And then the 65 game rule, I think, pushes that, especially for these players that are looking to, in terms of more elite status, and also contractually what it means for them, right? More dollars in their pocket. So that's one of the things that's been making me smile. I like that.
To add to that as well too, I think we've also, by virtue of this rule, have gotten some great basketball matchups that we otherwise may have missed out on because players are going to sit out, strategically and get ready. So I do believe that this rule has given us a side effect of that. So we're seeing matchups that and play out towards the end of the season, some good games where teams who have locked in positions, especially your top tier teams, your OKC, your Spurs, who are essentially locked in, your Bostons, you get what I'm saying? Locked in and just could get ready for the offseason. But no, they're playing and we're seeing great basketball towards the end of the season as a result of it. So I'm loving that. And I'm with you, Lou, as a fan. All of us here have bought tickets and all of us here have experienced that disappointment too. We're going to a game thinking we're going to see a player and they're not there.
Yeah.
So I love that they're taking time to put emphasis on that. And we're seeing that in the games, man. We've had some great games this year and I think it's because of that. So
for sure.
I think that's awesome. I love that. I love that. Were you going to say something, Ev, or you want me to?
No, you said it well. It definitely adds to the late February, March, and the April product, right? And so, we had all those gripes, a couple weeks ago about when folks start doing the math and projecting out to who may miss and whatnot. But exactly what you said, it's keeping them on the court. And a period of time where we hear all the stories, usually about this team resting players, getting ready for the playoffs, whatnot. If you're a family and you were able to get your tickets in February and March this year, you have a pretty strong,
Yeah,
comfort,
right after
probably even more
taxes.
so than the middle of the season, right?
Facts,
That
facts.
hey,
Taxes, man. You got to check.
right at the listen, right, you're
Got
right,
that check,
right.
bro.
Hello. That refund hit.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Exactly. You feel pretty good that the players you want to see are going to play because they're worried about that number, and so
Facts.
yeah,
Yeah,
mm,
I'll say this last game to me was a great example. Spurs versus Denver. That was
Yes.
a great game. Went
Yes.
into overtime. And I
Yes.
feel like in the past, we wouldn't have gotten that because Denver, as injury riddled as they've been this season, they would have just rested their players and got ready for, the offseason. But we saw a great matchup, MVP versus potential MVP candidate or MVP candidate, and it was a great game to the wire. It was exciting. It gave me playoff basketball before playoff basketball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that is
Yeah.
a great example of that this week. I was glued to the TV and just and it's like, man, we're getting some great games. Like this feels like
Go.
when you feel like you got something you weren't supposed to. When you're in the vending machine, that extra candy bar falls down, or
Yeah.
you
You're like,
find some money.
yes, this is
Yeah,
my day.
yes, my
Yeah.
favor's turning.
and think about that from the Spurs standpoint as well, right? Because I mean, we've seen Wemby literally exhausted on the court, right? And
Mm,
and with having dealt with injuries before, the blood clot kind of fluke injury, but still, in their mind,
Serious.
they're like, we just got to get Wemby to the playoffs. That definitely, with them being up like 8 games on the number 3 team, that's
right.
definitely a game. Well, we could rest him there, or we could rest one of
Oh,
these young
on
guys.
both sides, they
Somebody,
decided to do
right?
that.
Most
Like,
guys we could
man,
rest.
like,
Their team
Denver
perfectly
side,
in place.
yeah. Denver's like, we
Right,
should, hey, how do we preserve our guys in the playoffs?
right.
And
So
yo,
both teams had, under previous construct, would have had reason, would have had quote unquote justification to say I'm resting my guys. But exactly to your point, in the construct that we are now, everybody's playing. So no, good call. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Cool,
so how's
cool.
it been making you smile, man?
This is gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
Trust me,
We've
I don't
had
think it get weird
full
and,
blown petty and we've had subtle
and
petty.
praying
So I
on the
mean, a little
downfall of
weird is
Milwaukee.
good.
I know. So, mine is weird. Just because I'm not a huge fan of this team, but I'm happy to see it. The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, man.
They
I
hooping.
hate to say
They hooping,
it,
bro.
as
They
one
hoop.
who's, always rooting against them and enjoy it, but I'm actually liking what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah.
It gives me old San Antonio vibes where they're really constructing it. They're building it from the mud. They're
And
not going
they're building
out here
culture.
trying to swing for the fences for like a franchise player. Um, you know, they're really looking and moving in the right direction. And people are not just us, everybody in the sports industry who covers basketball is saying they're the sleeper in the East. They're the dark horse. They're the one who's essentially going to upset somebody potentially in the East. And I think it's great for the city because those of you who are familiar with Atlanta sports, it's overdue for some shine. I know it's been a couple years since the Braves won it, but and the Falcons, with that's what's going on over there. Um, to see the Atlanta Hawks really just be a grinded out just basketball team, not too flashy. And I hate to say it, man, getting rid of Trey Young they should have done that a lot sooner because
Hanzo, yeah,
they're trending in the right direction, man.
a long time
Well,
ago. I've
well,
been
you
sitting
don't have to
there
hate it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't have to hate to say it. I think it's one of those examples of something that, and granted, it's a half season sample size, right? Of what they've done without him. You want to see it in the playoffs, but it's one of those things where it was pretty evident that this player and this style is holding you all back from a full ceiling, right? You're living off of a fluke in 2021, and you're never going to reach those levels again, with this guy leading you. And I say that, and he's in my city now. But right. But you're absolutely right. Like they've molded into a cohesive identity once they traded him. They a star fell in their lap with Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson,
I
boy.
mean,
And listen,
and so once you get that 1A check, box checked, and it's a player that's functional enough that you can build around and build an identity around. This definitely they were on my list. I just wasn't gonna say it out loud because it's the Hawks. But
See,
yeah,
but that's what I'm
right.
saying.
nah, hold on. You can't be sitting there backing the Wizards, but don't want to say out loud the Hawks. Like, come on, bro.
Listen, man, as
It's
a
a beef with
Knicks
the Knicks,
fan,
man.
all right,
Uh,
which it's not fair. I grew up watching the Hawks. Shout out to Dominique, but they traded Dominique, so it's been beef
They
since.
did. They did.
Um,
wow.
To
It's some
Sacramento,
see them
right?
back where they are. I'm with you. No, they traded them to the Clippers.
The Clippers. Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
but to see them back where they are, no, it's a good story. You're right.
well, yeah, if we're real, man, like it wasn't team basketball with Trey. It was Trey and nothing. Hans, we talked about the specifics of it. There's some insight that I had in terms of like, first hand conversation of what players were, you know. At the end of the day, Trey, just like he was in college, bro, he's here to get his. That's what got him where he drafted at the level he drafted at. That's what got him being a franchise player in Atlanta. And this was the breath of fresh air that Atlanta needed in terms of shifting where their team is going, so that they can actually build a team. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see for them what the trajectory of where they can be with the current construction that they have, and then what they're going to continue to do in terms of building on that.
I actually want to root for this Hawks team. Like, I want to root for them just because I feel like they're a.
It's all because of CJ McCollum. Keep going.
Listen, former Blazer CJ McCollum is there. You're right. Former Blazer CJ McCollum is there. I like Walker Alexander. I like how he plays. Like,
Bro, that was such a crucial pickup. I'm glad. Yo, I was just want to say that, bro. It's such a crucial pickup, bro.
They're gritty. They're together. It's like they're the underdog. It's them against the world. And I like that. I really do. So I don't know, man. I may be a Hawks fan this offseason.
Oh man, here we go. You always
Listen, I'm
talk
trying to
about
get
them
in
as
there
the
real
one
quick,
that
man.
to be the disruptor team. You've always
Yeah.
brought it up as they're like, yo, they're gonna be the ones to mess it up for somebody.
Listen, and
But
they
now you
avoided the
actually
Knicks
doing
real
it.
quick. They kept climbing. So yeah,
They
the
got good
Knicks got to
merch,
worry
so do
about
your
them real
thing.
quick. You said what?
I said they got good merch, so do your thing.
This
All right, guys. We got about 2 minutes or so, a little over 2 minutes left. One more bright spot. Who got another one they want to share? Something that made them smile.
I'll say something that just I've pointed it out a couple times throughout the year. I like this new NBA package. The media deal thus far, I think, has worked out. Just having a bunch of different voices from a studio standpoint, right? And the gripes with what ESPN had provided from a studio standpoint over the years to replace them with the TNT crew. And honestly, the TNT crew not necessarily being the I can't say the word, the dominant crew,
yeah,
right,
I don't
this
know.
year.
That's
I
my only
think
gripe.
Prominent.
I have a gripe
Yeah.
with that though.
well, I see the gripe from it, but I think had they been, because in a way they were kind of the only voice on the block,
But they were a
right?
great voice.
They were great
Look
voices.
forward to that. Like, let's be real. That's one of the illest type when you have Cruz as commentating. Come on. The brand was crazy. There's a reason why they had over a decade of them doing what they were doing, bro.
I don't disagree. I do think just having more voices and more production and more ways through which to view the NBA this year, to me, has made the product pleasing to watch.
Agreed.
And so I've enjoyed that.
I will say that I agree with Ev on that, and I agree with Lou. Like, they're solid. Now, granted, they're with a different network, so you can see the changes in production and delivery. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I honestly believe it won't last much longer. I think we got maybe a couple years of that, and they're gonna call it quits, just because it's not the same environment. Their environment has changes, which means the output and what they're giving us has changed. It's not the same. But I agree with Ev. At first, though, I'm not gonna lie, I hated it because I felt like it was spread out and you would have to go searching for it. But if we think about it, that's our habit now anyway, right? We when you go sit down to eat your wings, you're like, okay, let me check Netflix, let me check Hulu, let me to see which movies I'm gonna
Okay.
watch. You do that anyway. So now it's just like,
Very
okay,
clever.
boom, let me check
Very
down the
clever.
list. So much so, I'll share a little insight, and I know we have to move on. I downgraded my cable real quick, and looking at the channels I missed, one of them was NBA TV, and I'm like, when I think about this year, I didn't catch that many games on that. I'm okay with missing that. You get what I mean? I'm okay with missing that because most of the games came on ESPN, Amazon, Peacock. So I'm okay. So I'll have to second with Ev. I think this package that they did with the streaming, it works out. It really does. It gives you a multitude of experience, and it gives people diversity in different voices. So if you don't have an ear for this one, you can get it somewhere else. So 100%. All right, fellas, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the curveball. So what's something that kind of you know you didn't see it coming? It shocked you, it surprised you this season, and it just had you on the on the back of your heels. I'll start off with you, Lou, on this one, man. What's a curveball that you did not see coming? It was not on your bingo card for this NBA season.
Yo, this is why I got to give you some Blazer love, man. You know what I
Hey,
mean? You know, I've been quite. I probably watch more Blazer games than you know, Hans. And I
oh,
mean,
you're a
it's something you-
closeted Blazer fan. I
listen.
love it. I love that for you.
Listen, when we talk about the history, you know the reason why I got love for the Blazers is for that 2001 team.
Yeah.
That 2001 team, gave me my Blazers fandom. Other than us talking about Clyde, but what I will say, I'm really enjoying Klingen. I know he's in his second year,
Okay.
but I'm seeing the leap that he's made, and you know, his ceiling is higher than I expected. You know what I mean? The way he's been hooping this year, like he's really thinking about it, man. He's doubled his points this year. I think he's
Yes.
up. I think he's up almost 10 minutes in terms of his play,
Man, we're about to
right?
get into
So, like,
Blazer
but
talk.
this is a guy that's coming that's walking, double double, and then he can move. And also he can he's not. I want to say he puts the ball on the ground like like a Wemby or someone, but he's a mobile type of center, and he has a a smooth little jumper. So overall, I'm feeling the you know what I mean
You
when I'm
feeling White
seeing
Donovan, man? You feeling White Donovan, man?
real talk. Yeah, look, once you start getting to being in top three in terms of leading the league in rebounds, like you now you're in the conversations with the Jokers and the guy him at New York who shall not be named. Due to Evan's previous statements, but you start aligning yourselves with certain names that now we got to pay attention to. So I'm enjoying what Klingon is doing, and if the Blazers continue to cultivate that, that will be a staple piece, like when we talked about what Sengun was for Houston, right? So make sure you continue to develop that and build around. I mean, I'm not going to say he's the guy you have to build around, but he definitely can be a major piece as you're talking about young talent that can put you in a position to be able to have a formidable team moving down the line. But he's just that's my curveball, man. Random. Well, I've been watching Clean, and also this how you know Clean is making some noise from a gambling perspective. When I see more and more people putting him on their betting slips,
Bro.
that means there's two things. One, he's being noticed, and two, there's a level of consistency that he has. So
Yeah.
again,
Walking double-double.
walking
It's
double
not
double.
a high double-double. It's just a double-double, man.
20 and 10, 20 and 11. Who's
He's
mad at that? If that's what I mean, if that's one of your in terms of your starters, one of your core pieces. So man, shout out to the Blazers for getting that piece and continuing to develop, and then putting just what I hope you guys do is continue to build around that, build that team, and then continue to put them in a position to develop and grow.
You know what's funny about Klingen is that people were worried because when we drafted Hansen, they thought that he was essentially going to ascend and go above Donovan, but Hansen is too raw. The game on this side of the earth is moving too fast. It's too physical from what he's used to in China, right?
Yeah.
So what I love about Donovan, why I think he's really a great story, is the reason for his success is his heart. So for those who don't watch Blazers, like that to me is one of the things I've been critical with. Shut up, Ev. I've been critical about early on was when we were under Chauncey was we didn't have an identity, and I was very critical at first. But to be fair, I was impatient. And it took time, and we developed our identity, which was, or we're work hard, we're a lunch pail team, blue collar, we'll work it. And Donovan is a perfect example of that. He early on, if you watched him in the beginning, which most people didn't, I did. He was trying to be something he wasn't, right? He was trying to be that stretch big. He was trying to get, give you the shot. But then he realized quick, like, look, and his minutes were going down. Something clicked with him, and I honestly believe it was Tiago who was like, look, bro, you're a hard worker. Get us boards and put it back in. Find your role. And I think he did that. And he's a workhorse, man. He gets it in. What I would love to see him develop is just more offensive tools. So yeah, get you a good offensive game. I don't know if need to go see Elijah one or go see somebody
because
who
for me,
feels like he's stealing money.
He's like, we're not even gonna give him because we already know his stance. But no, like, he's like he to me, he's an upgrade of if you were to have a Capella. Right, so like, for me, he's like a better version of Capella. So because he still gives you enough of a presence on the defensive end, but also what he can do on the offensive end too. I think he has a little bit more of a more well-rounded game than Capella does. But that's the type of player that he more so reminds me of because of what Capella was able to do. Work hard. I'm down in the pool, and I'm gonna get you them boards, whether it's a second chance opportunities for myself or for my other guys on my team. But so big up to the Blazers, man. So that's my curveball. You mean? Of the season so far.
Appreciate that, man. Blazers love is always appreciated over here.
I just like that one. Yes. All this Lakers talk finally.
What's your curveball, Ev? What surprised you this season, man?
Before I get into what surprised me, I'll throw a little bit of Blazers love in there as well.
Hey, man, this is a great show, man.
For y'all, I'm gonna talk about y'all and the team adjacent to y'all. For y'all to be at 40 wins in the year, I don't think anybody expected that. So 40-win Blazer team, right there with Phoenix too, a 42-win Phoenix team. Two great examples. Two great examples of identity making a difference. And so I give you that. That's looked great. Where I'm gonna go from a surprise standpoint, I'm gonna go further down the standings, and I'm gonna go to the Dallas Mavericks. I am surprised by how irrelevant they have been this year. I'm just saying. I mean, from an overall
how irrelevant.
Organizational ineptitude. I mean, you make the trade of the century, right? You're on the wrong side of the trade of the century when you give up Luka Doncic, and you win the jackpots of all jackpots when you're able to bounce back with a draft pick to pick a Cooper Flag who, I knew he'd be a sure thing, but I also had my questions on could he be that true lead 1A player, right? And you see all the youngest player stats he's breaking right now, just dropped 50 the other night. I mean, he's been as good as advertised. And yet, despite that, your team has not mattered since November. That is incredible to me. Now, I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries. I get that. I know at one point they were banking on the pipe dream of Kyrie Irving coming back, right? And then he said, nope, not coming back for the year. My lower leg injuries are built different than Jason Tatum and everybody else's. I see y'all in 2026.
Right. I see y'all tearing your whole Achilles and coming back, but not me.
Right. But I mean, they still had the bones of a team that 2 years ago made the conference finals. Made the NBA finals.
Finals.
Right. And so to not even, if you weren't going to win with that, to turn that into pieces that could complement Cooper Flag. So you'd have just some bit of excitement during this year. The fact that Cooper Flag, despite the year that he's had, still may lose out on the Rookie of the Year to a Conker Nipple just because one is relevant and the other is irrelevant, right? Despite the numbers that he's been putting up. The organizational ineptitude. I mean, you had to get rid of Nico Harrison, of course. You got Mark Cuban out here flirting, man. I shouldn't have sold the team. I might try to buy it back. You're
That's how
not
he's trying to
buying
buy
it
it back.
back.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, right. Just overall, I'm surprised by how dysfunctional an organization that has probably been one of the most functional organizations of this century, right, has turned in the span of like 18 months. And it just leads you to question, I mean, what's up next for the Dallas Mavericks? Because they're on the clock with Cooper Flag. So they're going to have to figure it out quick.
Who knows what happens in the expansion time?
You said they're on the clock with Cooper Flag already?
Cooper Flag's never lost like this in his life. Cooper Flag's family is diehard Boston Celtics fans. Cooper Flag is from Maine, okay? Like the love fest he got when they went back to Boston a month ago and lost by 30, right? The love fest he got up there. They had the whole state in the building rooting for
But
Cooper.
what do you want to give up for Cooper Flag?
Oh no, I'm talking about when he leaves in free agency. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but that's another what? Is it a 3
3
or 5 year deal that he has?
4-year deal.
4-year
And
deal.
that's
After the third year, he has his option. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, he has at least 2 more years before that even is in the conversation. And who knows what the league looks like in the midst of that.
I hear you.
That's why I said expansion time.
I think the conversation starts sooner than that because they've got to sell to him now or sell to him quickly that this organization is stable enough
They gotta
for
make a move.
Yeah,
For
they-
Dallas, yeah. But
Yeah,
Boston, I don't think Boston right now, if we look at it, is a viable.
Oh no, that's 3 years down the line. But what I'm saying is, well, that's all I'm saying is that Dallas has to sell themselves to Cooper Flag now.
Gotcha.
So that he's not ready to leave as soon as he has the first opportunity to do so.
Got it. Makes sense. They don't have the luxury of slow rolling this turnaround. They need a quick turnaround to get buy-in from Cooper because he'll leave.
No, if his contract is going to be up, that time is going to be up. Expansion time. That's going to be another conversation in itself. All right. Opportunity. If you feel like it's not shaking in Dallas, and it's like, look, I can do bad all by myself, but you can go be the guy at one of these expansion teams.
So that's
because go to Seattle, be the face of the Seattle Supersonics.
Face of the Vegas Spades, Vegas Mirage.
Because the Aces already got the hard name, so it's just like they got to come up with something.
Vegas. What you call the big deuce? What do you call it?
Christian Boot,
Big Joker.
Vegas big jokers.
Big Joker.
Vegas deuce of diamonds, whatever, All right, I'm done.
Got it.
Biggest wild card.
Oh man. My curveball. Actually, it's in the same vein of what Ev is saying, just a different team. I am shocked at the Minnesota Timberwolves and how they have underwhelmed me this year. I saw them being projected to be up there to where possibly the Spurs are, being the second or third best team in the West. Basically, this was going to be Ant's coming out year, face of the league, putting everybody on notice. Young guy who doesn't care, who doesn't know any better. He's coming for heads. Don't forget, we're just getting Jordan comparisons. Him taking them to conference finals. I just don't understand it. I know he's had some injuries. Don't get me wrong. He's had some injuries this year, but I expected this team to be really at the top of the Western Conference. I expected them to be talked about in contender conversation. And I don't know. For me, I wanted Ant to really come out, and I
Yeah.
wanted Minnesota to come out there, and they're just to just ho
No,
hum. They
I
may
feel
be
you.
out the first round.
No, real talk. I mean, look, what
Well,
you
the
really
Lakers are down now, but I think the Lakers saved them. I'm gonna be real. The Lakers being down Luca and AR may
yeah,
have saved the Minnesota Timberwolves from
I
being
feel you.
knocked out the first
But
round.
I feel like
So,
what you amazing is you're expecting Ant to have the breakout season that K did, and we all are in agreement. This is what we expected, right? Because of what you did last season. And then the exciting playoffs that we had last season, and then this conversation of what the next level, the next ascension, the next step of what Ant would do. They got Ant out the way. That lets you to be the clear leader. They got you to help with Randall. They put all the other pieces around you. Shoot, even in the trades and the finessing, you still were to be able to get Connolly back to have some veteran leadership on your back end. And it really hasn't amounted to anything. It's been, like you said, it's been underwhelming. It's been underwhelming to the point now we've moved on from Ant's conversation as face of the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No
It's
matter all the commercials you had, now we moved on. Shout out to you,
Minnesota's
who Obama.
back, bro. Like when's the last time they were really discussed? And if you watch sports and ESPN or what have you, they're not
Ant
discussed
and
as a
Junkie
team to
John
go
Collins.
get it.
This shit, like what I mean, or his buzzer beater. But outside of that, these are few and far in between. These feats, right? You get an ESPN top 10 highlight, but it doesn't translate to where you are in the standings. And like you said, Hans, the Lakers being down really makes save the fact that they can be in conversation or even to get past round one.
Yeah, that's it. They're
They're
lucking
cooked.
on that. Depending on how seeding happens. Depending on how seeding happens, they may have lucked out.
Yeah.
so that's the part where they may not have looked out for that.
That's true. If
And
the Lakers
so,
keep going down,
right,
they face
because
Denver.
right,
And
right,
Denver is not going to make the same.
where
Yeah.
where you would have thought, this Minnesota team primed to go against Denver, who they've seen in the playoffs, right? You would think this Minnesota team would be a better pick against the Houston Rockets, right? But how they've looked, no, I don't think I would pick either in Minnesota over either of those teams. And so with the Lakers, with the and if you haven't seen the news, or we're alluding to is the injuries to both Luca and Austin Reeves throughout at least the end of the regular season, right? So there's expectation that the Lakers will fall at least from that 3 spot that they're in.
Mhm.
Minnesota, and I've been calling this all year. When are y'all gonna get above this 6 seed? Y'all been in this 6, 7 seed like the
Bro.
entire season,
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right. Which is why they were kind of, I've looked at them as my letdown team from the standpoint of y'all have not climbed all year, and we are 4 years into
Yeah.
this Ant Edwards as the guy experiment. Yeah, we swapped out the cat with the Randall, but the roster's mostly been intact. You made a trade for I'm gonna say his name wrong from the Bulls though at the break that we thought would add some punch to the
Ayo.
lineup.
John Schumann.
Yeah, Ayo, yeah. But it's been mostly the same. And we talk about, I'm gonna just say it. We talk about Giannis this summer. I allude to Cooper eventually, right? And that was more of a far fetched, but you start looking at Ant Minnesota, we on year 5 now of have we seen the peak already, right? Because you have a team that we thought was uniquely built, right, to look strong in the West, and they look leagues below the top of the West. So
Yeah.
be
And the
interesting.
reason go ahead, Lou.
No, I'm about to say I was going to actually bring up a point that you made, man. It feels a lot like when you mentioned in Charlotte, like all of this it to just be at the same spot. They run it there on the treadmill, running fast to still be in the same place, and that's what it looks like in the Western version, where our expectations of what you're supposed to be based on the noise that you would make occasionally, but just to turn around and really look at it in its totality, and it really hasn't amounted to much of progress.
Yeah, no, and the only reason I said that they might face the Lakers is because Denver has a tougher remaining schedule than the Lakers do. And Denver unfortunately has to still play OKC and San Antonio again before the end of the season. The Lakers do have a softer schedule, and so does Minnesota. But even still, right? Like you guys said, to sum up this segment, Minnesota has been underwhelming, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what what they do during this postseason. Maybe they'll shock us all, but yeah, man, very underwhelming. Curveball, didn't see it coming. Thought they were going to be at least a second or third seed in the West. So, all right, guys, let's move on to the last segment. This is the letdown list. Things that have disappointed us, things that have got us shaking our head, probably turned off the TV in disgust one or two times. So, yeah, I'll start off with you on this one, Ev, if you don't mind. What has let you down this season, man? What's made you just shaking your head in disgust?
I think that answer to me is kind of obvious. It's the Orlando Magic, a team that
Ooh,
Anytime I try to bring them up in conversation, y'all hit me with disdain with why are we even talking about them? And I gotta give it to you. You may have won the war on this one, right? Um, Falling. They're down to ninth in the tied for ninth, basically in the East. A year in which, kind of like what we were saying with Minnesota, this is the year that I saw them actually making a step in claiming some real estate in the East. Hovered around six most of the year before falling. And granted, Franz has been hurt a lot this year. Jalen Suggs. I mean, I don't even have to say it. It's always the same story with him. But when you had the ascendance of Anthony Black since the beginning of the season, you've had the relative health of Paolo, and then we had the what do we call it? A blockbuster trade
the
for
blockbuster trade, man,
right.
of the season.
Of the season when you had a blockbuster trade for Desmond Bain that was supposed to be the exact fit to bring out the most of this roster. For them to be in the 9-10 game potentially in the Eastern Conference coming into this playoffs, that's a failure whether they get into the playoffs or not, to be honest, because at this point they're just setting themselves up for a first round knockout at best. And this is a team that's going to have to go into this offseason answering some major questions. Does this roster fit? You've got about 8 or 9 names, but do you have 8 or 9 players with chemistry for each other? Does this coach fit? Right. We've had, a few years now of this Jamal Mosley experience. I just called him a center from the 2000s. But anywho, we've
I
had
was
a
about to
few
say
years
you
of
having nostalgia.
this.
Jamal
Yeah,
McGlure?
Right. But we've had a few years of this, and you're going backwards, not forward. So honestly, the Magic have been the most disappointing to me, and it's a shame because they have beautiful jerseys. So we got to do better.
yeah. I mean, even to piggyback off that again, Paolo's another player that we expected to have the extension that we've seen with Cade this season. And it's still as your favorite French word and potential. So it's unfortunate to see that it hasn't been realized.
I, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I said it a while back. It's Orlando. I don't know. I feel like they're living up to my expectations, but it
Yeah,
wasn't a
hey,
letdown for me.
yo, hey,
But I think they're the team that I'm happy to see fail because
wow,
of Desmond Bain's last second shot beating us. I didn't forget during the regular season.
wow.
So, but yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. They're a letdown. They're underperforming. We thought, at least I thought, with the injury of Suggs and him coming back, it give them a boost. And we even spoke about it, I think, earlier in the season. We did see a small increment of that. But him being in and out the lineup and consistently, I don't think they even got a chance to really form an identity of who they were and how they want to play basketball. And unfortunately, everybody around them in the East, when they were in that, 4 or 5 seed, figured out what they were doing, right? The Knicks were ascending, Boston was out there, Cleveland, like everybody figured out what they were doing, and they just kept sliding on down when they were trying to figure it out. So it's unfortunate. I'm interested to see what they do moving forward. Are they going to do another blockbuster trade? what's the what's the solution? And um Paolo, how's he going to bounce back? He hears all the chatter. I think it was, I forgot what the podcast was, but Dylan Brooks was being interviewed and he was going down the list of players who were better than him. Is he better? Are these players better than him? And when it got to Paolo, he was like, he's supposed to be LeBron. So even other players are saying that you're underperforming and you're not where you need to be. So I'm interested to see what he comes back with the offseason. Is he going to come back with new tools, invigorated, motivated? We don't want to see that French word come to fruition. So
And also, it's another thing that wasn't mentioned, but like the undertones of him and the coach going back and forth.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Oh, you didn't know what? No, he was a couple weeks back where like the coach, without alluding directly, without saying names directly, he was basically like, players aren't out there playing to the level that they should be.
Oh,
And
wow.
then Paulo also made some comments about how coaching, what the decisions being made from a coaching perspective, weren't
Okay.
necessarily the best. So you have a lot of stuff that's brewing in Orlando. So we'll see how it all shapes out.
Paolo for Giannis, who says no.
Oh my gosh, bro. You are sick. You hate them that much.
Nah, I
Good.
hate them.
Look at Ev. Ev was like, wow.
You're gonna hear it this summer. You're gonna hear it this summer.
There's no trade that you're not gonna hear this summer. You're gonna hear everything this summer.
Okay. How about you, Lou? What's let you down this season, brother?
The Chicago Illinois Bulls, bro. Like, what do we?
What's
We
going
don't.
on?
I do not know what this organization is doing.
Wow. You don't know where they're going with direction?
I do not. If I had a compass, I'd still be lost. I mean, we've been progressive over the last 5 years. I think maybe in 21, 2022, we were at 500, but we've progressively been worse every year since, year over year. We've waited too long in making changes in terms of our roster. And even when we most recently made these changes in our roster, it has not been anything that would move the needle. No true assets that we could look and see that we're building around. We moved on from all of our probably great buildable pieces. Ayo, Kobe. Obviously, we don't know no longer Levine or
White.
Dillingham. Come on, and with the most recent stir that's happening with Ivy, but it just seems like we're just flailing. And I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel here. So just very, very, very curious to see what the Bulls' game plan will be in terms of rebuilding as an organization. If I had my guess, I think that general management, that up, in the front office, there may be some changes there, because I just think that they haven't been. There's nothing to show for the last 5 years, other than consistent mediocrity. So, I mean, the Bulls, look how far we've fallen from being, what it is. It is at some point you can't ride the coattail of the Jordan high. You know what I mean? Or even the D Rose era. You have what is going to be your this new management that's in place. What is going to be, for like a better term, your claim to fame, but we have not seemed like a formidable organization, a sound organization in a long time. So I thought that in this era of when we started doing this fire sale of trades, we'd be able to do something that may kind of help us for the future. We'll see what happens during draft time. We'll see what potentially during any other trades that could happen. But as of right now, for me, my team has been the biggest disappointment yet again.
Yeah, I'm with you with the confusion. I just don't see the vision and I don't understand it. You had some quality players with Kobe White who it looked like they were building around. Even Ayo, they traded him. I didn't get that.
Blew my mind.
And I'm like, okay, you're blowing it up, but like you're not you're not even blowing it up right.
Even
If that
getting
makes sense.
anything worthwhile for it.
Yeah, yeah, you're not blowing it up right. So I'm
Orlando got a blockbuster trade. Why can't we?
so yeah, so I don't know, man. It is head scratching material with the Chicago Bulls, and I hope that maybe they're seeing something that we don't, or some luck will go their way to where it turns around because that is a huge fan base. And I'm right with you, Lou. Like, there's a couple teams in the NBA when they're not in it, it's off. Like you want to see your big market teams be doing well. So you, as much as we hate it, you want to see the Lakers being competitive, the Knicks and Chicago's in there as well too, and you want to see them do well. So it's interesting that this front office is making these moves and it has all these head scratchers. I don't know what all these round 2 picks that you guys are amassing and what you plan to do with them. Maybe you have a certain player in mind you're going to trade for them eventually. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been able to draft some solid guys, right? We drafted Kobe, we drafted we've drafted some pieces that clearly could be pieces you build around, but we're starting at zero all over again with realistically a bunch of role players, if that. We're looking like what it looked like before Jordan came into to the Bulls, when it was just like, you know what I mean? This is another
But
team of scrubs.
but even then, though, right? If that was the plan, y'all should have got rid of that a lot sooner.
That's my point. That's why I'm
Like
so like,
if you're
why
yeah,
did we
if you're
wait 5?
tanking, yeah.
Exactly. All these 5 years. Why is it now we decided? Why is it now that you decided that you wanted to do all that? Like, yo, we could have been move Levine, move DeRozan, move Vooch, Kobe. I mean, Kobe still had a relatively high value even when we did trade him. Ayo even coming in as a backup the way he's been able to hoop. So it was like Andre Drummond, like, okay, cool. Like you're trying to patch things up, kind of, but not really. It's just like, you know what? You bring your car to the mechanic, my check engine light is on. They do whatever they can do to make sure the check engine light turns off, send you on your way, and then 3 weeks later, it turns back on again. That's how the Bulls is operating as an organization.
That's frustrating.
I just don't see how the Lakers aren't the most disappointing team in the NBA right now.
And this is where we end the podcast.
No, this is where we just start the podcast. All right, everything beforehand don't even matter anymore. This is a new hour right here, baby.
Go
The
ahead,
Lakers-
Palma. But what
well, no, I mean, the
disappointed
Lakers
you,
were
man?
one of the hottest teams in the NBA for. I mean, it was
The month of
them, the
March?
Spurs,
Or a
and
month, or a
OKC
month.
have been on a tear for the last month, and just to see it just all crumble down in one game is generational. It's a generational disappointment.
I know you didn't.
Like
you
AR and Luka, they're out for the regular season. I don't even think they're going to be back for the first round.
They're not.
What matchup can the Lakers have in order to get out of the first round? I don't see one. Not even
If
Houston.
I get booted in the first round, how do you feel?
Horrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say Houston maybe, but not even then. I don't. That's gonna be a tough one to get around. I'll say this: that is disappointing if you're a Laker fan to see how you guys finally decided to play defense and turned it around and rattled off. What was it? 9-10 wins in a row. I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, we
of
were like
the
9-1
streak.
in our last 10 before the OKC
Yeah.
game or something like that.
Yeah. You guys rattled close to 10 in a row, and
Which
to
is crazy
see it
because
happen.
the Spurs were the same way. Like they had won like 10 in a row or some shit. And so the Lakers didn't even get ground. Like Lakers had a great March and couldn't even gain games on the Spurs at all.
Yeah, because they were riding an 11-game winning streak. So yeah, it's tough, man. And you know what? As much as I'm a Laker hater, I hate to see it because of injury.
Yeah,
And
because
that
it gives us
sucks.
fear shake. You like, I want to
Yeah,
see you guys lose at full strength.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
bad.
And as much as Luca propaganda you've been spamming us in this freaking chat, as much as I
Someone
tried
has
to
to.
unsubscribe to the Luca propaganda that's been
It's not even
being
propaganda.
sent.
It's just facts.
Okay,
You
being
guys are
sent
acting
my way.
like the NBA media right now. Just refuse to give Luka credit for what he's been doing this year.
Oh man,
This year,
Look at the reaction
know
Lou's
what?
giving.
Oh my gosh.
This isn't even.
So,
Go
well,
ahead.
I was gonna say what's unfair about this situation is that the Lakers' story for the year is going to be incomplete. And what I mean by that is to be able to give a full analysis on what they need to do and don't need to do this
Mm,
offseason. We
facts.
needed to see them in the playoffs at full
Facts.
strength to be whatever they were going to be against the teams they were up against, so we can have a full unbiased opinion of, okay, what do the Lakers need to look like in 26 and
Yeah, how do you
27?
properly calibrate?
Here,
Right, right.
let me put this to let me put this perspective to you guys. Then, with Luca out, Lakers have no shot. You guys agree with that, right? We have no shot to even win a round.
You don't think the king could
It,
get it together
Luka,
and put his
they
cape
they
didn't,
they
on
have no
and
shot to win a
they didn't,
round. If
they didn't even have a
SGA
shot
was
with Luka
out for the
playing.
first
They didn't have
round,
a shot with Luka playing. So
would OKC have a chance to win?
yes.
Absolutely.
If Wemby was out, would the
oh
Spurs
God,
have a chance to
even
win?
with Luka, what you talking about?
I think depending on the matchup, yes.
So how's Luka not the MVP of the league? Let's go.
Oh, here we
I just
go.
told you they smoked out with Luka on the floor. What do you mean?
I'm done.
Because the
I'm
OKC
done.
doesn't have a better team, not because SGA is better than Luka.
I'm done. I'll say this with
If you're
this
going to
whole
use the Westbrook argument for your MVP debate, it may not
No,
fly
it's
with
not
the
it's not the
majority of
same
the
Here's
league.
because
what I would
Westbrook was
say:
a 6 seed. Westbrook was
if
a 6 seed. Lakers are a
no,
Ask,
3rd seed.
if you guys
ask,
were to
ask,
play,
ask me that in 6 games.
oh man,
All right,
if you
this
were to
guy.
play Minnesota without Luka and lose, I can attribute it to like, okay, Luka's not there. This is why you guys lost to Minnesota. But even with Luka on the floor, I still think that the Minnesota game and Minnesota series ends up
Minnesota's
being a
not the same
6-game
team as
series.
last year.
It's still going to be a 6
We
game.
just talked about it in the same episode.
I think it would still be a 6-game series.
All
I
right,
think Lakers edge them out with Luka on the floor, but I still think it's a 6-game series.
by the way, another big disappointment that you guys didn't mention, the Jaden Ivey thing, the Pistons. What's going on with that?
I was gonna get there, but you didn't. You interrupted
Why
me, so
I'm giving it to
I,
you.
I didn't get to say my disappointment, but it's fine. We can talk about your disappointment with Jaden Ivey. That was the Bulls, right?
Yeah,
So,
since he's a Bull, like I mentioned him in terms of the Bulls
oh, is it
because
Karis LeVert that is on the Pistons then? That like backed
Yeah,
him up or
Karis
something?
LeVert.
Okay,
Yeah.
my
Okay,
bad.
let me get on my soapbox real quick for this last minute. So yes, thank you, Pop Mama, for that great producing, giving me the alley. Yeah, that's my disappointment, the Jaden Ivey. What disappoints me about it is the ignorance of a lot of people, and how they don't understand what freedom of speech actually means. That's what really upsets me about it, is that freedom of speech protects you from the government coming after you for speaking, the government condemning you, the government taking action for you. It doesn't prevent your company, who's a private entity, who's not a government, from
talk
punishing
about
you
it.
for your actions and
Yep.
and what you said. So those who are out here toting like, oh, what happened to freedom of speech? It didn't change. He had freedom of speech. He can say it. There's no government action being taken on him. He's not being censored by the government. He's still on social media spouting, saying whatever he needs to say. So he's living his amendment right. Like he's saying his freedom of speech. The NBA doesn't have to agree with it, and that's their right because they're a company who has their own bylaws and standards that they want to exude and live by. So that's within the company's right to get you out of here. And also, he still gets his money. He still gets paid, right? So it's not like they're saying, "Hey, give us our money back." No, you're still getting paid. You just made comments that the league felt or the team felt were detrimental to their brand and to their company. So that's the letdown and just the ignorance that people have with this going on. Now, we we could get into particulars of what he was saying, but I don't think we have time for that. And into what he was expressing. But at the end of the day, man, I just don't the letdown is that I just don't understand how people forget that this NBA is a company that you work for. It is still a company, it's still a job, and certain rules and decorums have to be followed. That's That's just what
Just
it
like
is.
I had Ev said before, bro. I think you are Evan said in the chat, like you should learn from Mark Jackson.
Listen,
And Mark Jackson's a legend, so he's still involved. But again,
something that'll get you basketball. So yeah. But guys, that's it for our show. Let us know what your thoughts were, and if we missed out on certain topics, things we didn't address, hit us up on social media in the comment section. Check us out on YouTube. As always, we appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Peace. What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the 3on3 podcast. Please be sure to give the episode a thumbs up if you loved it. Hit that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that bell so that way you're notified every time we drop a new episode. Hit us up on our social media, guys. You can find us at the 3on3 podcast on IG and Twitter. If you want to give us any ideas or suggestions, shoot us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.